Following the Lakers signing Koloko, we have been patiently waiting for him to get medical approval to return to on-court basketball activities, or more specifically team activities, as he can do individual work right now, and he has been doing it lately too, posting videos of him working out and putting in some major cardiovascular work on the court. Now again, he is returning from a blood clot that held him out for an entire season, but I think there's reason to believe they can benefit their team and will do more than your typical two-way contract player. Now for their team in particular, they usually don't use their two-way contract players that much, but I definitely believe that they will be using Koloko. I mean, right now he's kind of their third center, or second one if you don't consider Anthony Davis a center. But regardless, he will be filling that starting center role for them, with either Jackson Hayes or Koloko behind him. And we'll talk more about that in a later video, but I think the expectations for Koloko are something to consider here. As again, I do believe that he will be filling a real role within the rotation, not simply a garbage time player or a guy that they only play down in the G League. Though again, he does have to get medically cleared to return to on-court activities, which is only about a week away from training camp at this point, but the Lakers do have belief that he will. They conducted an independent assessment of him and they have reason to believe that he will be able to play this season. Whether that'll be sooner or later, they do believe that it'll happen, and I think that it will happen before preseason or at the very least before the regular season. And with Koloko individually ramping up for it, I think it's sooner as opposed to later. And we'll talk about what realistic expectations for Koloko could be this season. But before we get too far into it, if you want more NBA content from me, and non-Lakers content at that, then don't forget to check out my second channel, JSM Plus. That's where I talk about the other 29 teams in the NBA, and talk about everything non-Lakers going on in the NBA. So if you want to check it out, there will be a link for it in the video description down below. But without further ado, let's dive right into it. And again, I believe that Koloko will be filling a real role for their team this season, and within their day one rotation too, or again at least if he gets medically cleared by then. And not simply for matchup dependent games, but potentially for nearly every game. Now I do think he will be fairly matchup dependent, but I think they will find a role for him in nearly every game again. And if that turns out to be the case, what can we truly expect from him, both offensively and defensively, but also on rebounding as well? And beginning with offense, probably not too much here. He was fairly limited and raw prior to him dealing with a health issue. He only averaged 3.1 points per game on 48% field goal shooting during his rookie year. And that's pretty underwhelming even for a rookie, and especially a rookie center. At this point, we're pretty much looking for him to be a lob threat and a rim runner to put pressure on their opponent's front court to keep up with him. I think that's the main threat he can be on offense right now. Definitely being that lob threat, but also outrunning and putting pressure on their opponent's center to actually keep up with him. If he can run the court very well and have that cardiovascular edge over their opponent's big man, that could put pressure on them as well. There's not very many big, unmobile centers left in the modern NBA, and especially not within a starting lineup, let alone rotation, but anytime you can make an opponent's big man work, that is a good thing. And with Koloko being a young, athletic, and very mobile 7-foot big, that's something he can definitely do. You know, it might not be from an offensive skill set standpoint, but it definitely can be from a hard-working and overall athletic ability standpoint too. Everything from alley-oops, fast break points, pick and roll plays, and offensive putbacks are where Koloko can make an impact offensively. Again, fairly limited, but he can make an impact here and there. Moving on to rebounding and defense though, I think this is where people are kind of comparing him to a JaVale McGee, and really a young JaVale McGee if you ask me. I think there can be a comparison between them, definitely from an athletic ability standpoint, a height and wingspan standpoint, and then maybe a rim protection standpoint too. Again, definitely a young JaVale McGee, as Koloko himself is fairly young yet, only being 24 years old and has plenty of untapped potential, but that is what I compare to him in regard to a JaVale McGee. Though I think he can make a somewhat similar impact to him, even if it's only in regard to rebounding and rim protection. Koloko, like a young JaVale McGee, is not a great rebounder quite yet. He only averaged 8.1 rebounds per 36 minutes during his rookie year, and that definitely left a lot to be desired. You want your center to be averaging about 10 rebounds per 36 minutes, if not even more than that. Probably not for a rookie, you can't truly expect that, but you gotta be hoping for that about 10 to 12 rebounds per game. Though I think there is a little bit of a leeway for him to improve. During his rookie year, he did share the court often with guys like Scottie Barnes and Pascal Siakam, both of which are bigger wing players and definitely grab a lot of defensive rebounds, and I think that kind of took away from Koloko in regard to rebounding. And you can actually point to it too, as then for offensive rebounds per game, or offensive rebounds per 36 minutes, he grabbed about 4 of them. And when you're grabbing about the same amount of offensive rebounds compared to defensive rebounds, that definitely tells me that you're getting a few of them taken away from you on defense, and that you probably could grab more of them if the team let you, or if you weren't surrounded by other good rebounders, which is never a bad thing, but I think that is what you can point to here at least a little bit. And that probably would have led to him averaging about 1 to 2 rebounds per game more if he played for a different team, one with less good rebounding wings. And if we're going to go back to that JaVale McGee comparison, there actually is one to be made here in regard to rebounding. A young JaVale McGee was actually fairly similar, grabbing only about 9 rebounds per 36 minutes and for about the first 3 to 4 years of his young career. And that's fairly similar to what Christian Koloko did. And not to mention with McGee grabbing about 4 offensive rebounds per 36 minutes like Koloko did. But can Koloko actually match the rim protection that JaVale McGee brought their team? Definitely not the prime version of JaVale McGee on defense, but maybe pretty close to what the Lakers got from him on defense, or at least in regard to blocking shots. During his time with the Lakers, McGee averaged about 3 blocked shots per 36 minutes, and that's actually fairly close to what Koloko blocked during his rookie year. He blocked 2.6 of them per 36 minute average, and it was not only about blocking shots, but actually making a pretty good defensive impact too. Definitely room for improvement, but he did lead their team in defensive Raptor rating during his rookie year. And although that's not the one all stat category for defense, it does show they made a pretty good impact there as well. And combined with his WAR rating, or wins above replacement rating, he definitely was a valuable player at the bare minimum on defense. And even after dealing with a health issue, missing the entirety of last season due to a blood clot, I think that we can expect Koloko to replicate that too, and likely being their second best rim protector behind Anthony Davis. Jackson Hayes simply is not a great rim protector or shot blocker. He's fairly switchable on defense and not a bad team defender as well, but I think Koloko definitely has the edge over him in regard to rim protection and definitely shot blocking ability. Though I think what would really set him apart from JaVale McGee, and maybe Hayes, would be switchability on defense. That's something that JaVale McGee can never offer them, or really any team throughout his entire career. Maybe a little bit here and there, but never truly being a switchable NBA big. And that's something that Koloko could develop into. He is fairly switchable for a 7-foot big, and fairly athletic again too. You know, you definitely can't expect him to do it on every play, or let alone actually match up with a guard or wing player, but he can hold his own for a possession or two, making the switch during a pick and roll, or simply finding himself matched up for one singular play onto a guard or wing. He can make them work and actually stay in front of them fairly well for a 7-foot big. And I'm really hoping, and even kind of expecting him to take a step forward in that this season. You know, again, he does have to come back healthy and ready to play in the NBA again, but I think he is more than athletic enough to do it and actually keep up with quicker wing players and make that switch on defense. And if he can do that, that would really set him apart from not only JaVale McGee, but maybe even Jackson Hayes too. That's really the primary strength of Jackson Hayes on defense again, being athletic and switching on defense, but if Koloko could do both that and be a better rim protector than him, then that could really give him the edge over Hayes on defense. Only time will tell if he can ever become that for them, but it's never bad to have a young, athletic, switchable, and really good rim protecting big within your rotation, and one that has plenty of untapped potential at that too. And overall, I think we should expect a fairly raw offense player from Koloko, averaging no more than about 3 to 5 points per game, but hopefully on better field goal shooting. Though I think we can expect a productive rebounding, really good offensive rebounding, rim protecting, and rim running backup big. And that right there alone could be impactful within their rotation. They don't really have that combination right now. They get some of that from Jackson Hayes, a little bit of it from Christian Wood when he's healthy, but not really all of it together. And if Koloko can be healthy, put that all together, and have a productive second year in the NBA or true second year in the NBA, then I think he could find himself a role within the rotation. But with that being said, what do you guys think? How do you feel about Christian Koloko entering this season and the expectations that we should or actually might be able to put on him? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one, and if you enjoyed the video, then don't forget to drop a like, hit that subscribe button if you have not already, and turn on notifications so you never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.